Good morning, everybody. What a day, what a week, what a month. This is actually November 18th today. John talking, and we had a crazy week actually, thanks to Nina Roehrs, who's our guest today, who's been like curating for the third time in a row the digital sector of Paris photo. Nina, how do you feel? How are you?
Exhausted but happy.
It's what you call good exhausting. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
you exhausted, but you feel like you did the job.
Yes, I think we,
Yeah.
we really did the job.
So yeah, we just talked about it before starting the recording. It was the third time in the row, and the feedbacks are amazing. A lot of people are telling me, "Wow, it's the best, the best digital sector of Paris photo that they ever lived." And unfortunately, for some reason I was not able to come, but I was really FOMOing like crazy on Twitter and following everything that happened. But just to summarize for people who may not have followed, maybe now you can just give what happened basically. What happened last week, basically?
Last week we had Paris Photo and the Grand Palais in Paris. And Paris Photo is the biggest and most well-known art fair for photography in the artistic context, and also defining it itself more and more as a fair for photography and image creation. And since 3 years now, we are building a digital sector as part of the fair. And that was basically what was happening last week. And same as last year, this year we had 13 exhibitors right in the center of the Grand Palais, between the beautiful stairs that lead up to the Balcon d'Honneur. And we also had a project for the first time also on the balconies this year.
Okay, so you've been using more space. And actually, this video will also introduce all the videos we've been recording at NFT Morning with most of the galleries who's been exhibiting, and many of the artists actually also who's been exhibiting. So I really recommend you to follow this and to follow all the other Paris photo tag on NFT Morning. But okay, so we always have this idea and the objective. It became kind of a rendezvous, like a meeting now every year. You think that basically, because it's also the idea of, and it's also your background in mixing contemporary art with this digital NFT crowds, I would say. Do you feel like that the mayonnaise, like the mix, is operating basically?
Right from the beginning, I think it was very clear, if we want to have a broad overview of what art in the digital context or photography in the digital context means today, that we have to include different groups of people. So also when you look at the exhibitors, we do have exhibitors like, for example, Nagel Draxler or if it's Office Impart, who work with the traditional gallery model. They have a space, both of them in Berlin. They work with a defined roster of artists, and at the same time to bring in newer developments, like, for example, like around Web3. We always said that we are also opening our doors for digital platforms who might not have a space, who might work also with artists more on a project basis. And and that already gives us brings different group of people together, and it also brings different types of artists working in the digital. So basically, we have a broad range, like going back in history of digital art, new media art, internet, now up to Web3, and many artists working with AI at the moment.
Yeah.
Also in very different ways, and some of them with a connection to blockchain, working also with NFT, and others not.
Yeah, actually, that's really interesting because, yeah, for some of them, we had some artists we've been interviewing. Yeah, some of them, are just maybe doing the, very early for them in the NFT stuff because, they've been working as media artists, basically. How we can see the vocabule is different, from their background. Basically, some of them define themselves as media artists. They've been doing videos for the last 20, 30 years, maybe exhibited in galleries or video or playing with internet stuff. And some of them, are, I would say, NFT natives in a way, or something like this. And actually, they are maybe for the first time, doing physical exhibition. And it's true, and you can see it and you can feel it, all of them are kind of a new, yeah, they are creating a community, and they've been exhibiting together, visiting the booth each from each other. You organize also, some moments, when they meet each other. And it's true, so you can have this kind of family effect, when they go from one fair to the other fair year after year. And when it's creating something, right?
Yeah, also, I mean, you can see the atmosphere is not very competitive. Also, you see exhibitors helping each other, like, for example, Mimi, who was mainly there on her own, Sneak and Wahrheit with her gallery, and somebody else stepping in for her every day for an hour or two from another booth, supporting her so that she could also do her tours or get something to eat, which I felt was a very nice thing to see. What you also see is like you have all the artists there, which is not typical for traditional fairs. Most of the galleries do not bring their artists to the fairs, or at least not for the whole time. And we had so many artists around, which also adds to the community feeling. And due to the fact that we are defining or that we created a digital sector and maybe not just a topic, and that the booths are not spread out across the fair, but they're all like together. It's a bit like a marketplace, like where people meet. So you also see people again and again for the whole week, which is really nice. So the whole thing is really coming together, and collectors are integrating from different backgrounds. Paris Photo is also very strong in bringing institutions and collections. So we had many curators coming. We also had several exhibitors reporting that they arranged shows for their artists based on what they're showed now at the fair, which I feel is great, might sometimes be even more important than strong sales.
True. And this is
Yeah,
what yeah, this is what artists and galleries say also, because always asking the question about, it's all of the galleries are businesses, and all of us love art. But at the end of the day, if you want to do the same job in 5 years from now, you need to make money. So it's all the thing. And so, during all the interviews, I've been always asking question about the return on investment. And I think it's very interesting because basically it's what is strong and what is complex, in this kind of event. Most of the time, the return on investment is not direct. It could be, of course, you will sell on the booth, and I saw actually some. I don't know. I think Heft Gallery, for example, publishing, every few times a day when they've been selling
yeah,
work, what has been sold. So yeah, they play the sold game basically, and publishing, when artwork has been sold. So of course, direct sales are important and materializing sales on the booth potentially, but for many of them and most of the time, it's more like they generate contact and they generate an image that will bring potentially to another show, that would bring to sales, or that would bring to a relationship, that would bring to something else. So it's much more than just direct sales, right?
yeah, and it's also a moment in a process. Even if you look at the project that they're bringing, sometimes, I mean, the work with the artist on the project starts way earlier, and it might also. I'm sorry, I have a little.
No, I know you had a tough week.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah.
Can we do a little?
Yeah, we can do a small break. In the same time, actually, I saw that Seth Goldstein, just reposted this stream, and I was exactly about to show because you mentioned AI, and I was just about to show exactly what I was seeing on my screen at this time, because you mentioned AI, and we have different moment, different way, to play with AI. I think you mentioned, I think 13 galleries have been exhibiting. I think a big half of them at least are touching more or less the AI topic, because of course everybody's talking about it's kind of this sensory revolution, and I think yeah, Sets and their team have been revealed the Solian project during Paris Photo. It's also nice, that artists and galleries are using, this moment to do some to reveal, some of their work, right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like it starts, for example, the example now of Solien project by the former Bright Moments team, by Seth and Christy and Amisha. It's a very interesting project. We started very early on talking about it, and then also they had a long process together with this AI agent to develop it into an autonomous artist and to present the process and the outcome, or like where it is at the moment in its development stage, to present it at the fair. And often you need to look at fairs also like a moment in a story or in a collaboration also with artists. And it's also a way for exhibitors to offer something special to an artist and to create an audience for works and to get attention. And a lot of it is already happening before you come to the fair, also in terms of sales activity or getting people ready to buy at the fair. And then, of course, the after-sale process and the work with the institutions and curators. So it's more complex than one would think, and you also have to deal with it in that way, because otherwise, if you just go to the fair and nobody knows about the project before, then also it's not very likely that people will come to your booth and just buy.
Yeah, of course, just starting the story, and and so yeah, actually, I recommend you to listen, the NFT morning we did, with the former team of Bright Moment. We've been also we had some nice talks and discussions about AI. One of them also that you've been doing, actually, Nina, with a Heft Gallery, actually, but also I think it was about digital portraiture, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yeah, we had Adam in his booth, Heft Gallery. They had one wall dedicated to AI portraiture, which was also very interesting, including several artists who created portraits, working with AI. And also circling about what maybe portraiture means in the age of AI.
I see, and they've been actually, they've been inviting a lot of actually, pretty strong curation of artists. You mentioned.
We had, for example, we had Ganbrod in there. We had Saab, Kerem Yavuz in there. We had Michael Mendyberg. We had Nancy Burson. For example.
Okay, yeah. I think there are some. Actually, it's interesting because it's also we mentioned Solian. I think Ganbrod. I've been listening also to the show you've been doing. He's been doing this series. I think it was pretty successful. From what I saw on the social media, I feel like what he's been doing was pretty successful. Basically revisiting. You will tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding, because I've been following the episode also on the morning, was he's been revisiting. He's been revisiting basically
a very famous image by Steve McCurry.
Okay, yeah. And so he's been recreating them with AI, right?
Yeah, basically he took the original image and altered the position of the head and the direction in which this girl is looking. So it's interesting when you don't have, I mean, everybody knows the original work, but then at the same time, of course, you forget what it really looked like. You just you recognize that you don't see the, I mean, you're not really aware of the difference when you walk up to it because the original is not there. You still, everybody has original in mind. And I think it was very controversial how people thought about this, and gave many discussions and also got a lot of attention on X.
Yeah, because I think it's a lot of people know this. Let me show it to you quickly. Yeah, everybody basically,
that's the original one where
yeah, actually, even me, I didn't know. It's not easy to make the difference. Okay, yeah.
Because the other one, the head is turned to the side.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Let me show it to you also, so you will see the difference. So this is the original one. I think everybody saw this picture once in their life.
It was already a very controversial picture because the girl by the time was not aware that she became so famous and that her image had been taken, and there are many discussions around the original image, now around the work that Gamrot created, picking up on many of the earlier discussions. So I think it could be worth to do a whole podcast with him about how this went. And Alex Asterix was there, and I think they published an article about it, an interview with him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's raising a lot of questions, of course, at this time, about.
Yeah, I think in right click save, I think they have a whole feature just about this work and how it was perceived during the fair.
Yeah, and if you follow on Twitter, it is pretty controversial. Is what I saw. I think it's
which is also good, which should also happen because it also gives some spice to what's going on. And
I believe, I think it's part of it's all the point, and I think it's also the thing with this AI, because I think we see different ways, to play with AI. We mentioned, the agent Solian created by Automata. Now we can see, question about the copyright and the using of the public images to recreate an image, with this work. And, it's all the point about raising questions, basically, because we are in the transition time, basically. And it's always the point with artists, artists are, ultra sensitive about the time where they are living, about the century, about the impact, and so they express their feeling, their questions, even sometime before the society start to create some ethical rules or stuff related to the way to play with this new situation. And of course, what is interesting also in many of this is not bringing an answer, a moral judgment about it. It's more like, it's here, maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but I'm raising the point. And I think this is why also some people are arguing about it, mentioning that it's too easy or blah blah, it's lazy work, whatever. I think AI art will continue to be controversial, and everything that is bringing something new, has to be controversial in a way.
Yeah, and I think it's also, I feel as a curator, it's good to acknowledge that we are very early in this, and it does not really help to go in and to be too judgmental. It's better to go in to be open, and of course we are looking for quality, and there are different artists working in different ways, and we are trying to bring the most interesting, let's say, to the fair also, or to any exhibition that I do. But I think we will only really be able to discuss many of the aspects of these works when we are looking back in a couple of years. Sometimes we also still lack the vocabulary, and often we are trying to approach it through established way of looking at art in general, and maybe we also need to find new ways and new criteria. And there's also a new group of people who decides what they like and what they don't like in an attention economy. So the whole, everything is changing, and we could also see it in this year's panel. We had a panel now in the first year with Charlotte Kent about artificial intelligence at the fair. By the time with Kevin Bosch and Anna Ridler and Sofia Crespo. That panel was, by the time, very much about how artists work or how they work with AI. And then last year we had a panel that was very much about the invisible algorithmic structures that are behind many of the images that we see and how they circulate, and the ecology of images, which was related to a show at the Photo Museum Winter Tour. And this year we had another panel moderated by Charlotte Kent, which was about AI and agency and all of this like being in flux. And you could see, and we had Sass like talking about Solien. We had Jean Kogan talking about Abraham and the platform there, both of them are based on. We had an artist who was in the booth of Düsseldorf in photography, Hedda. We had Emi Cusano, and we had Elkin. And you could see this whole discussion was really showing that at the moment, it's different. There are no really like final answers. We're like in the process, and but it brought up many interesting aspects like of basically the role of the artist versus the tool, and how much autonomy there really is in AI agents at the moment, and what that means. So it was an interesting discussion, has been recorded, and I think will be soon available online.
Okay, wow. So yeah, and that's interesting to see, that also it's not only exhibiting, but a lot of talks also are taking part of it. And I think it's, what that was, it's always also this question, that we are thinking about, because, you have kind of this ideal persona of what we call in the NFT space, the traditional collector. And you have kind of this ideal persona, that we believe it will. I think for many people in the space, is the one who will save the NFTs, by coming with his money and pumping their bag, basically. More seriously, I wanted to know, do you feel like, in these talks on the booth, you feel like, that the perception of digital art is, and especially, let's say, but on NFTs also, is changing a bit, when people go through the booth or go to the talks?
I think for Paris Photo, there was always something that we try to treat as a means of distribution or certification, and not as an art form. Even though there might be a certain culture that comes with it, and also a certain group of artists. But and it was interesting in the first year, like 2023, people were still a bit more collectors wondering about this question around blockchain NFT, because it was also a bit more on the topic of the day. At the moment, it's very much AI. Everybody is more focusing on how works have been created, because some people even refer to the digital sector as an AI sector, because at the moment, everybody thinks digital is AI. And in 2021, everybody thought digital is blockchain. And there you can already see how many somehow misunderstandings are around. And when you look at the fair, many of the works, they manifest physically, even though we had more works on screen than in previous year, interestingly enough. And people are, I think, less concerned with if how they're collecting the work. I think they're opening up to the idea also of having a work on a screen, and if they get if that means that they get an NFT with it, or they get the print and they get an NFT with it, I think they don't mind. And the galleries also developed ways of making this possible even for unexperienced collectors who do not really deal with a wallet, for example, on a daily basis.
I see.
But we also had, like, for example, artworks being supported by Tezos, and they had the whole show also on objects. So basically it was a combination of on-site and online. So yeah, there we see Grant walking the Grand Palais, talking about his work. And there you could buy all the works, or even if you bought them in the booth, you would basically buy them through the platform.
Yeah, because I'm mentioning also, you're mentioning Adverse, and we can see actually a kind of virtual tool right now by Grant showing actually especially his work on the Adverse booth.
Yes.
And so Grida and Adverse make this curation with a lot of artists actually, Amy Cusano, Nicentis, Grant Tune, Ruben Roux,
Genesis K,
and Shavon Wrong, and for sure I forgot one of them, but it's okay.
Ruben Wu.
Exactly.
It was really interesting. They were all there, and I think that's I think that's a little bit reworked by AI.
Yeah.
Because now they have a frame and they're a little bigger than they were at the booth.
And I was wondering.
And somehow I think she took the front wall of the Grand Palais and put her works on it, Emmy, which I think it's really funny to do, fun thing to do. And it was interesting. Grida's curation, I think, was excellent in the way that she managed to give each of them a dedicated space on the wall in the booth. And you could really focus on the individual artists and the projects they were bringing. And you had nice aunties on the outside also with interactive work. And that was also nice. That was really like pulling people in, like it was very attractive to them, like to have this work that would offer them a way to communicate basically with the artwork, like a mirror-based, there we see it, like a mirror-based work that would also talk to you and give nice comments about that you look tired or that you, I don't know, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Most of them a bit teasing and not too friendly, like auntie style.
like your dear family members, that in a way, that express their love in their own
in the
way
of telling you that you look a bit like not so well. So I think that was great, and she was there and explaining it to many people, and it was also nice to experience the character that comes with the work. And many of these artists, they also live in Asia, so they also come from not from an American or Western cultural background. It's also interesting through their work and through them to get insights into another part of the world, which is sometimes, I feel, a bit under-reflected still in the digital art circles, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, that's totally true, and actually, I think this NFT morning that we did also with Grida and actually, it was only with the Asian woman, because I think the two men of the curation, they were not here, so it was like with Nicentis, Shavon Wong, and
also Amy living in Japan.
Exactly.
So you can also see the way they dress, they present the work, the interaction. It's interesting. It's also like a cultural exchange.
Yeah, and in the same time, I'm showing this video from.
Here you're seeing like one side of the digital sector, like between the stairs. You see the beautiful Grand Palais. And here you see the booth of Office Impart and the booth of Anita Beckers. And Anita Beckers, interesting, it's a gallery that worked very early on with time-based art, like pioneers, and they've been in the main sector of the fair for many years, but now they decided also to do a solo within the digital sector.
Wow.
Which we had with two galleries, and that's also a great sign that we see that galleries from the main sector are coming over to put a spotlight on certain artists they're working with.
Yeah, that's that's a lot of content, and there are a lot of cool images. I'm just going through many of them, and you can see actually, all the scenographies in the beautiful and impressive Grand Palais. One of them also, just I wanted to see with you, because I was wondering, how it would go out, was Jan Robert Lechter, who's been doing this map-based
The
work.
Wanderer.
The Wanderer, exactly. As a summary, I remember we interviewed him beforehand. He created this kind of Google Map-based artwork, where basically an algorithm, it's a perpetual algorithm, so it's a forever walk by a virtual agent, that is starting his journey from the Grand Palais.
You can see the map here. So it's an addition of 3, this work, and this first work was now being started by the gallery and Jan Robert in the Grand Palais on Tuesday, when the fair basically opened with the first event with JP Morgan Night. And then what the work does, it sits in a contract on the blockchain, and whenever it reaches a crossing or a corner, it does a random decision to go left or right, and it's showing its path through Google Maps services. And you can buy the individual corner. So whenever it turns, there's a moment where a collector could come in and say, okay, I will buy this corner. And what it does, the NFT that you get is a little drawing, like these blue lines. They're always slightly different, and you get a text or text elements that refer to what's going on at this part of Paris law in this case. So it would, for example, say like, go straight. It would comment maybe that there was a bench, or that there that how the what the underground looks like you're walking on. So giving you a little idea of where you've been, and could also give you an opportunity to collect parts of Paris that you really like. And we had some people walking with it, because it walks like as fast as a human would walk. And it just walks out in the world forever now. And some people walked with it and filmed it, and then also bought the individual junctions. In the beginning, it was really difficult for us to get in and also to get one. I remember the gallery and Jan Robert, we were all a bit frustrated because we were not able to get one of the early ones, because there were so many people, like a huge fan or collectors club of Jan Robert, collecting them from all over the world.
It's amazing. And actually, I will try to show you, because I was able also to connect to this website, because I think it's...
And the individual NFT is very affordable. So it was around maybe €1. So it's more like about participating in the idea.
Yeah.
And you can also see how it went back and forth. In the beginning, it was really like a digital flaneur going through all the parks. And it took a while until it decided to leave Paris.
Yeah, we can see actually, because it started at the Grand Palais, and so you can see basically this is why the density of pin is very strong, in the center. In the center.
Yeah, and of course there are many junctions, and so we could really see it go. Yeah, and then you have these red marks. That's the points that you could actually. Yeah, that's basically what you would get. Huh?
Wow! And every time you can see I generating. Okay, yeah. For example, you can see like here.
And in the Grand Palais, the gallery did a live installation where you had 2 screens, like one leaning against the wall and one on top of it. The one on top was always showing these text related to where the wanderer was at the moment. And underneath you could see the map. So you could see it walk, and then you had the text coming, updating itself on the second screen. And next to it, we had that wonderful ornament series.
Wow.
So very, very nice, very focused booth.
Yeah, I really like it. The concept is really
great. And
great.
Also carrying the fair out into the world and forever. It's nice that something started at the digital sector in the Grand Palais, and now will be out there forever, basically.
No, yeah, it's really it's super, super cool, and that's why I wanted to show it, because I love the concept, and it's still living. I know. I think it's something to collect for me. Yeah, it's very affordable. It's fun. You're part of the story, and you can buy one intersection of the journey. And we don't know where this boat will go. So far, it's in the north suburb of Paris, near Saint-Denis, or something like this.
It
But
could, I mean, hopefully it will go out in the world, because it also doesn't know borders and it doesn't need a passport, which is also an interesting thought in these times. And you could also buy the whole work. So you can either buy these tokens that stand for some of the junctions, but you could also buy the whole work, basically. And many institutions,
the full piece, right?
yeah, many institutions are very interested in it, because it's one of these rare combinations, let's say, where very somehow in a very nice way, internet culture and blockchain culture and technology are coming together, which is also very typical for Jan Robert's work. I mean, that he's somebody who always worked with the current state of the internet, also very much focusing on the interface that we are living through, or that we're seeing most of our life through when we look in the screen or we work on the screen the whole day. But he also made a very nice transition then, or found ways to integrate blockchain technology into his world, into work. And yeah, and I think that's now the latest step.
Definitely. And also, yeah, I think in the museum, it's something interactive also. You see it moving live, it's living it's forever. So that's
yeah, and there's an edition of 3, so whoever buys edition 2 or 3 can also decide from where it would start. So let's say if the MoMA would buy it, they could decide the time and the location from which it would walk out into the world. And in that case, I guess from the MoMA, which is also nice.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Actually, there are lots. We won't be able to mention all of the,
no, of course,
everything. That's
no.
happened. But there've been a lot of of course, Kevin Abosch with the TAEX also, who's been doing. I'm just viewing some pictures right now.
Louis Paul Caron with Danae. Yeah, that's Kevin giving a tour. That's a wonderful booth of TAEX with the latest series by Kevin. He also had a wonderful book signing. He also invited people to his studio, so VIPs of the fair could visit him at home and get a studio tour, which was really nice. So
yeah, that's amazing, and we can see a lot of.
We see some of the usual suspects. Huh?
Yeah, this is what I'm wondering. There's not anyone.
Marlene, Jean-Michel. So, I think 100 Collectors did a wonderful job also in bringing people and contextualizing the sector, which was great. They did so many tours with groups, but also with collectors who wanted an individual tour. They also contributed to several sales. So I think that's also something that's very important, that you bring the community, that you have people who help to activate the whole thing next to the artists and the exhibitors.
No, definitely.
Because for myself, at one point, it's almost impossible. There's so much going on, and even though I'm touring people the whole day, it's limited.
Yeah, but this is what is nice, I think, in this spirit also. With digital, everybody want to contribute, and it's create a lot of. I think you had like a full crazy program, with the 100 collectors visits, with the artists doing their own initiatives, with basically some of the booths also that been changing every day. Which gallery? I think it's
Düsseldorf and photography.
Düsseldorf and photography. Yeah.
So and also, for example, the project of Luke Shannon. So this year we had many activations. So we had book signings, we had readings. Soline was reading, Christy was reading some of the manifestos on a daily basis. We had Luke Shannon with this scanner plotter work, where people could jump on the life-size scanner and interact or create new work of art based on the project that he provided. He was there all the time, so people were really obsessed with that scanner and to test the scanner, sometimes to a degree where you had to say, okay, you cannot just use the scanner the whole day for free. I mean, sometimes you really had to remind people that if they want to do something, they have to commission an artwork, book a slot. But it was fantastic because you can also see an art fair more and more for many people is also like going to an event. And it's also nice when you have projects that help to create that atmosphere.
Yeah, no, that's I think it's something that will stay. And actually, I just wanted to get also your, basically what how do you see the future? Can we already
talk about the future?
Consider that you will be back next year for the 4th edition of Digital Sector?
I think it's a little early to tell. It also depends, I think, on the final feedback of exhibitors. The fair is definitely wants to continue the focus. There we have Luke Chen's project.
I was looking. I tried to find the images real time. So we can see the scanner. Yeah, it's obsessive. This video is crazy. This video.
This one is crazy. I think I also sent you an image up front where you see me doing the scanner project with together with the replacement characters, together with a managing director of the fair. So.
Let me see if I can see it now. I would share.
But we are definitely working on the next edition and thinking about what that might look like. The sector has established itself now really as a fixed component of the fair. It has this beautiful location in the middle of the main floor of the Grand Palais. It grew compared to last year. It's also now even more integrated due to a new layout and also a bigger surface area that we took with the main sector. As we had the wonderful project with Giga UNICEF on the balcony. Press was very positive and also very active in reflecting on the sector. I think it's developing in a very nice direction, and I feel a photo fair is a very good backdrop for all these projects to be presented and to be embedded in the traditional art context.
That's interesting. And so in the feedback also from the organizer, I believe, of course, if they started to work on this digital sector like 3 years ago, it's because in a way, they believe that it's a kind of natural continuation of photography.
And for them it's also, photography was always, it's a medium that evolved a lot also with technological process over the year. We went from analog to digital. We had software coming in. Now we are in the age of AI, so we are more and more talking about maybe the image more in the context of photography. And the sector gives us an opportunity to really do a deep dive on the development of photography and related ideas. And you can also see it a bit maybe like the innovation hub for the fair, or the door opener for new ideas to come in. And also a discussion that many museums that are focusing on photography are also trying to have through their exhibitions. So you have many, like especially in photo exhibitions, you often have a contextualization already of these developments, or you had it for years, and now we also have it in the commercial context. For example, the Photo Museum Winter Tour that we often collaborate with, or the Jeu de Paume, or also like the Centre Pompidou. In their exhibitions, they're also picking up on many of these developments, and it's nice now to have a counterbalance. And next year we have 200 years of photography, so it could also be interesting to look back at all of this. And the digital and photography is, I think, the first intersections we already saw in the 1960s in early generative photography, So it's interesting to look back at this, or to look at it in this context. So yeah, curious to see what we can come up with for next year. I mean, you're always trying to improve it, to add something to it, and at the same time, of course, it's an art fair, and there are certain limitations and structures within you have to work.
Yeah, and that's no, that's really interesting. But I think it's inspiring a lot of people, and inspiring also a lot of other events. We see that now Art Basel in Miami is starting to do something. So I believe that, yeah, people have been observing what happened there the last few years, and yeah, maybe it's a starting point of something for event and digital art.
Yeah, and it's really great. The team of the fair, the art director, the director, they're all, they really stand behind the sector, and they also have a great interest in its content. So it's not just me out there integrating like a sector that might feel a little alien to the fair. It's the opposite. It's really something that they want to do and that they fully support. And also there's a selection committee. Usually fairs have a selection committee that decides who gets to exhibit. And that's true for the main sector. But for the digital sector, I'm the one deciding and putting the program together. But they come every year and reflect on the sector. And also there, the feedback was very positive.
No, yeah, that's interesting. I believe, I think it's a symbiotic also phenomenon, but it's a moment where I would say, yeah, the art world is facing also, an economical crisis, and so every crises are good in a way where it's always the moment where you need to challenge yourself, and so I see it as an opportunity, for all the new crowds, basically.
Yeah, and also in terms of diversity in the fair, if you feel when you're switching over to the digital sector, even though it's fully integrated, you can see it visually that there's something slightly different going on. I mean, one thing might be that you have more screens, but you also have a broader variety of the physical representation or presentation of the works in general. And that's one challenge with photo fairs, that you see a lot of images, and it can also be, it's a huge fair, it can also be a bit tiring after a while if you go from image to image to image. A bit different from an art fair where you have a sculpture, a painting, a photography,
Yeah.
installation, so where you have more diversity maybe. I mean, the projects are all great, but if everything looks is presented in a very similar way, it can be tiring as a visitor.
Yeah, if you have like
different.
100 screens and going
Yeah.
from screen to screen and saying video to video.
Yeah, it's
then,
just after one point in time, you don't see the differences anymore. And that many people like coming to me, traditional collectors, curators, who said, oh, that's really nice when I enter the digital sector. Kind of also wakes me up in a little bit. It's refreshing because there's a broader variety of also media, and that's also an opportunity for the fair.
Of course. No, that's really interesting, and so we will see. We'll see in the how things are going. We hope that the digital sector will continue and ideally grow, and ideally
take over.
Exactly. And also, as we are recording real time, I just Greta to share with me also this artwork she's been doing.
Yeah, wonderful.
She's been doing basically on the Jan Robert Lecht scanner. And it's Greta.
No, the Luke Shannon scanner.
Sorry, yeah. Luke Shannon scanner, sorry. With
nice.
So you can see Greta in Nicety creating this special creation. I think it's really, yeah, it's really nice. You can see when artists start to play with artist work, and creating collabs, kind of like this. It's creating something really interesting.
Yeah, Arab Bank Switzerland, I think I'm allowed to say that, for example, came and commissioned one of the works. But instead of us, let's say, jumping on the scanner, Emi Cusano was invited to do the commission as an artist who was already in the collection. And so she created the work together with Luke, which I think it's really great.
Wow. Okay, yeah, it's very new, very interesting. And so yeah, now so Nina, now just wanting to thank you for people also listening in the morning. We'll have one dedicated page with all this interview. I really invite you to visit. Basically, I think we did like 11 different interviews plus this one, so it's 12. So and maybe we'll have one or two extra, because it's really hard to catch up with everybody. It's a lot of content, even if we try to cover as much as we tried, as much as we can. So I just wanted to thank you, Nina, and congrats again. I think you've been doing an amazing job. Everybody is really happy, and I see all the artists and the galleries that are super proud. And I think it's important, to be proud of what we're doing, because we have a lot of doubt, I would say, in this space. A lot of question, a lot of, I would not say fail, but it's pretty hard, on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it's giving a lot of energy, a lot of good feeling, a lot of things. I think people, when they come back from this kind of exhibition, they are pumped to work like crazy for the next 6 months at least. So
yeah, I think you need that feedback from time to time. Also for me, like I'm mostly working from home, like on my screen, and you don't get that much feedback. And then all of a sudden you have this week where you also get finally some appreciation for what you've been working on. And that's a moment where you notice that sometimes would be nice to have that more frequently. And you need these moments to get energy and also to get, to believe that we can really, really get this thing going, and develop it further into the future as a group of people behind it. And it's fantastic. The energy is it's great. And thank you, John, for making this possible, putting us there in the spotlight with the sector, and also, giving the artists and the exhibitors the opportunity to talk about their projects in more detail, which is very difficult to manage as a fair.
Of course, now, and this is something that I know that is actually, as an event organizer, I know that you have a lot of ton of amazing content, and so it's nice. I'm always appreciate when people just do, like you mentioned, some artists doing sing, right click save has doing articles. You need to document as much as we can, because it's part of
and you need this network, as we already said. You giving us a platform to talk about the content or to put it out there in more detail, and maybe also reach different audiences. We had POA supporting us a third year with a digital collectible, which might be nice also for people getting into the space to have their first NFT, which can get very easily and for free. We had Fanny and Eleonora with the 100 collectors doing the tours. We had Arab Bank Switzerland offering this great evening to everybody who was involved with the sector to celebrate and to come together in a more relaxed way. And so many people contributing to it. We had Charlotte doing the panel, and there's a list of sometimes I hope I didn't forget anybody.
No, you will, and that's okay. They won't care so much. They've been here, they enjoyed, and so Nina, and so thank you very much, and maybe see you. So see you soon in Lisbon.
I think so. So, see you soon in Lisbon. Yes.
See you soon in Lisbon. So we'll talk a bit more about it soon, but. We'll meet each other very soon.
Yeah,
exactly. And so I hope to hope to see you and all of you actually first week of June in Lisbon, to see more digital art. And so thank you very much for people following. Also, actually, we're not, we're never done with art actually at NFT Morning. The next episode, actually, we have a small break. So the next episode will happen next week. It will be on Tuesday, on November 25th. And it will be actually with Pauline Fossel, Fanny Lacoubet, Eleonora Brisi, so 100 Collectors team. And it's a new format that we're doing on a monthly basis called the 100C Morning. So we'll have, basically to comment exactly and to talk about everything happening in the museum/galleries world with digital art, everything happening with digital art in the world, basically. So I think it would be really nice to have them every month. So I really invite you, of course, to follow that. Nina, have a great rest. You deserve it. Everybody, thank you very much. Good morning.
Bye.